Sorry. Hi all, my name's Sister Light of Christ. I think you're all here probably for the same reason I am, because 2 nights ago I led WTF. Right? Right, that's a safe for word version of what I said. So, we're going to begin our program. I want to thank you all for coming, and also thank the folks that are joining us on Facebook. So no matter where you are, none of you are alone. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the second woman to sit on the Supreme Court of the United States. She was nominated to the court in 1993. She had already established a reputation as a champion of gender equality, of women's rights, as an advocate, an academic, and appeals court judge. Throughout her long career, she was firm in her twin convictions. There is discrimination against women in the U.S. and elsewhere, and that discrimination violates the American Constitution. In her 27 years on the Supreme Court bench, she was a consistent and moderate liberal. She was formidably clever and had in her youth almost a superhuman capacity to work. But what made her historically so important was her clear conviction of the injustice of unequal treatment of women, and her absolute certainty that it would be cleansed by applying the Constitution. Her emphasis changed over her long career, spanning advocacy work from the American Civil Liberties Union in the 1970s, and as director of the ACLU and the Women's Rights Project. She argued 6 gender discrimination cases before the Supreme Court, winning 5. Persuading the bench that gender discrimination was a violation of the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. She believed the most important cases to come before the Supreme Court during her time was the landmark 2015 ruling that legalized same-sex marriage across all states. Born in Brooklyn, she was the younger daughter of Jewish parents. Lashana Tova. She grew up in Flatbush neighborhood. She was originally called Joan, but her mother preferred her middle name because there were too many Joans in her school. Ginsburg's output of work is the more astounding because twice in late middle age she was diagnosed with cancer. In 1979, colon cancer, and 10 years later, pancreatic cancer, with further occurrences as the years went on. As the Boston Sisters and many other sisters around the nation took it as our humble duty back in 2015 to Saint Ruth. I'd like to read to you what we wrote to her. In recognition for being the voice of reason on the Supreme Court for over 20 years, for being an outstanding role model for women and liberals, and for being the notorious RGB, Justice Bader Ginsburg is hereby elevated to the status of saint in the order of the Boston Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Forever be it known that sainthood by the Boston Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence has been bestowed upon Saint the whole Ruth and nothing but the Ruth. We would like to invite the Reverend Dr. Don Wells to speak with us. He is the theologian in residence at Old South Church.
Greetings, one and all. I'm delighted to be here by climate change, brutality especially toward people of color, the increasing rise of white supremacy, the ongoing prejudices and persecution against the LGBTQ community, and all the average citizen who struggles with loneliness and fatigue due to this virus. And now, as if that is not enough, the death of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a fierce advocate for the nation of justice, especially for the role and plight of women and for the LGBTQ community. So there is pain on many levels tonight. There is much, therefore, to pray for. And I have a simple prayer that I have augmented from the Iona community in Scotland that gently embraces all who are in pain, in grief, or in struggle. Let us pray. Safeguard your people in the sanctuary of your love, O God. Shelter them this very night in your loving arms. Enfold them, surround them. Be with them in their pain and in their losses, with words of encouragement. Be there in their moments of aloneness and trauma, with strength and perseverance. But be there also in their hoping for a better day and a better world, in which everyone is treated equally, because all are your children. Such was the vision of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And give to each of us the strength to help make that better world possible. As we say in Old South at the end of prayer, let the whole church say, Amen. I want to hear it. Let the whole church say, Amen. Thank you.
And all women and all the others. So, as we know, we want to build and open a space to send healing to the nearly 31 million folks who have been affected with the novel coronavirus COVID-19 around the globe. We want to open passages to the source of energy for the 202,000 souls we have lost worldwide to this pandemic. We want to remind you that the best way to protect yourself and others is to wear your mask and to wash your hands and to practice what we like to call safe six. So stay 6 feet away from people unless they're in your pod. And also, if you have not registered to vote, the time is now. Regardless of what end of politics you fall on, we need to vote like our lives depend on it. Because frankly, my dear, they do. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce to you our abbots for 2020, Sister Sandra Music.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. I know that you're here for the community and for yourself. Together we will heal together. We will let out some grief tonight together. Look around you. For those of you online, know that there are others online with you. You are not alone in your grief. You are not alone in your pain. We're in this together. Tonight, as we come together in grief, remember, a single flame can light 1,000 candles, and the life of that flame will not be shortened or compromised in the process. As we share in this moment of sadness and loss, let us call upon the divine, our guides, our ancestors, our highest selves, to bear witness to our pain. Let the light of these candles shine brightly and remind us of those we've lost, Their lights no longer shine on earth, but they are not forgotten because the stars remember. Let us turn our faces to the stars and give voice to our sadness. Let us cry out and allow the universe to take our pain. Let us remember what we've loved most about those we've lost and carry on their good work. Let us be champions for justice, warriors for equality, and supporters of the marginalized. At this time, those of you who brought candles, I would ask you to light your candles. While you're doing that, I'll tell you about what we're going to do next. We're going to take a moment to center ourselves. What that means is just find our inner peace of calm and strength. We're not focusing on negative emotions. We're not focusing on blaming anyone. We're not focusing on hate. We're focusing on love. And we're going to allow ourselves to feel the grief and the pain and the frustration and all the other emotions that we're all going through right now. I think we can all agree that 2020 is a pretty crappy year. I thought 2016 was the worst year I was ever going to live through. In addition to horrible things that happened on the planet, we lost Princess Leia, and I thought that was going to be the worst thing that I lived through for a while. It sucks, but this is worse. We're not even through the year, and we're here together because the pain is too unbearable to suffer silently or alone. So from this pain, this moment of pain, we're going to let some of that out. For those of you who are before the Instant Pot generation and remember what a pressure cooker is like if you open the lid before you let out the steam, you can blow a hole through your ceiling. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to let off some of the steam. All right? So together we're going to take some deep breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're being intentional to slow our breathing. We're not going to let our breath get away from us. We're going to be measured. Now on the count of 3, scream, cry, howl, do whatever your heart tells you to do to let out some of this steam. Okay? 1, 2, 3. That was your heart. That was your soul crying out in pain. Just because we never met her does not mean our pain is invalid. Just because we are not part of Justice Ginsburg's family does not mean that our sorrow is any less than those who knew her. For many of us, she stood as an example of what we can and should be. How we should dedicate our lives fully to protecting the weak and helping those who cannot help themselves. We are better than our leaders are portraying us to be. We are better than the worst actors who can go on TV and lie to our faces. We are better than that. We are better, but it's okay to feel pain. It's okay to hurt, and it's okay to let that hurt out, as long as we are not causing harm. We cannot stoop to their level and cause harm to others, but that doesn't mean we can't feel. That doesn't mean we can't hurt. It means that as the tears are streaming down our face, we march, we protest, and most importantly, we vote. We vote. I don't care if you're going to vote for the current president or you're going to vote for Joe Biden, but you have to vote. If you don't vote, you're giving someone else your power. If you don't vote, you're saying, whatever everyone else decides is good enough for me, I'm going to just sit home. We cannot sit home. This is not the year to sit home. You have an obligation as a member of this society to make your say. And don't think that by sitting home, you're not saying something. You're saying, I don't care enough for people who are suffering to get off my butt and vote. Vote by mail or vote in person. Whatever you need to do to take care of this country, you do it. This is not hyperbole. This year matters. This year matters. Your voice matters. And you have to use it. Do not be afraid. Millions of others are going to be using their voice with you. They may not agree with you, but they are standing up for what they believe in. Will you do the same?
Thank you all for joining us this evening and making space to not only remember Ruth, but to also remember all of those who have fought for their lives since March and are still fighting for their lives. Sandra asks you all to take a deep breath. Don't take that breath for granted. It is a gift. We love you. We adore you. We respect you. We protect you. We will always serve you. We are your sisters. We love you. Be safe.